Hello, family. Welcome back to Make
Africa
Great.
again.
There you go. Today we have a culture shock part 2,
Yes.
where we're going to be discussing religion and how I was really shocked when I came out here. But did you want to say something first?
Yes, we wanted to start this one off by saying that we are not promoting anybody to abandon their faith. We are not promoting anybody to become atheists.
Yes.
We are not atheists. I know this is a very
Touchy subject.
touchy, yes, this is a very sensitive subject. So, yeah, we're just about to discuss religion in South Africa. And, if you guys can feel welcome to, join in the conversation. And, yeah, we're going to start it off.
Yeah. So I'll start it off. Me coming from America, I was very shocked about the the percentage of that 80%, right, my
Yes,
love?
so we have 80% of our South African population that has
It's Christian.
adopted the Christian faith.
Yeah, and I was really shocked. That was a culture shock for me because in America, don't get me wrong, we do have a lot of black um, African American Christians, but at the same time, there's a lot of people in America waking up and understanding that it's not about a religion. That's the main point we're trying
Yes.
to take. It's about a relationship.
Yes.
And a lot of these churches are really about profit and about money
Yes.
than they are about really truly helping the impoverished and the poor. And I think that's the main point, babe, that I want to say is if these churches are really, for it to be 80% of your population to be Christians, there shouldn't be so much poverty as
Yes.
there is in South
No, I
Africa.
agree with that fact, 100%.
Because in America, our churches, and I'm not 100% familiar with all your churches, okay?
Yeah.
But our churches in America, they try to build homeless shelters. They try to build homes for single mothers. They try to do certain things to help the
In
community.
the communities, yes.
And I'm not really seeing that done here in
In South
Africa, in South Africa. So it just surprised me because here in America, we're kind of waking up to my mother, my family. They're finally realizing I grew up Seventh-day Adventist, so I
Yes.
grew up in a Christian home. But with us evolving and educating ourselves, in America, we kind of now see that it's not about a religion. We understand it's about a relationship.
Yes.
And that a lot of these religions are man-made.
Yes. I wanted to touch on that too. Yes, as he was saying that I just received not too long ago a message from my mother-in-law saying that they are not Seventh-day Adventists no more because they have taught themselves. They have studied, like the Bible says, study to show yourself approved. They have studied, and it's not about a religion. It's never been about a religion. And I wanted to touch on that fact when you were saying about the churches, especially here in South Africa. I don't, from my personal experience, I have not seen, I feel like the most that I've seen that churches do is probably go into communities and, maybe give out like soup and, food plates here and there. I haven't seen it a lot. But they do a lot in the United States. I guess because maybe they make more money over there, or maybe they care more over there. I don't know. But there are churches who help people with, who build shelters for people, who help struggling people with rent and stuff like that. It's not that it's a handout. We really need help as people, especially in the black communities. We need help because the playing field, it's uneven, it's unequal. So we as black folks, do need help. And he grew up Seventh-day Adventist. I also grew up in the church. So, when I first started, learning more outside of the Christian faith, I was very apprehensive. I have to tell you guys, I was extremely apprehensive. I did not, if anybody had to come to me with anything negative, about Christianity, I would cut you off. Listen, I cannot date you. I cannot be friends with you. Like me and you, we cannot have no relationship whatsoever because you are against what I believe. That was me. I was very, very cutthroat when it comes to that because I believed, in Christianity. You know what I mean? I believed I needed to go and sit up in the church. I believed that if my life wasn't going the way I wanted it to, if there was something wrong in my life, that was because maybe I didn't give my tithes correctly. Maybe I didn't give my offerings correctly. You know what I mean? So that's what I believed. And it took for me to literally go out of my surrounding, go out of the people that I surrounded myself with, go into America to educate myself more on even different religions. I didn't want to know about nothing other than Christianity. That's how indoctrinated I was, and that was passed down to me from my mother.
Yes, from generation to generation. That's how they continue to exploit the people, is through, unfortunately, your parents teaching you these things, and then now you feel this is right. You teach your children this, and we're not saying that we shouldn't teach your children's morals or values or no spirituality. We're saying that you need to teach your child about a relationship and not about a religion.
Exactly.
I think another main point that we really wanted to focus on, that I don't think a lot of people are aware of when it comes to these religions. Two things. Number one, if you really know your Bible and you read, like she said, study to show thyself approved.
Yes.
Jesus came to abolish religion.
Yes, he did.
I know you guys say the Pharisees crucified Christ, and sometimes people don't know who the Pharisees are. It was the church who helped crucify Christ, because he was amongst the people. He was amongst the poor. He was not going to the churches. He was amongst the people, and he not just any people. He was amongst the poor people.
The poor.
So if you really study your Bible, Jesus came to actually abolish religion. That's number one. Number two, I think the most interesting fact that I had to hit her with, that I think really opened her mind to start to understand this, and she can speak on this from a personal level, is that when I started sharing with her, a lot of these churches, like the Catholic Church, you might not be aware of this, they're worth billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. And when you have a country that is in so much poverty, they have enough money that it would even take all of their money or half of their money. It would take a quarter, a small percentage of their money to come here and take away this poverty. And you would see these churches doing this if they were really about God's work.
Yes. Yes.
And I think you need to make the point about explain from where your church, the name of your church, how you grew up, and explain when you did your own research.
Yes. Yes. So I wanted to harp, before I go into my church, I wanted to harp on that. We're not even just talking about South Africa. We're not saying the Catholic Church should come here to South Africa. Anywhere in the world where there is people struggling, people needing help, people needing aid. These churches, Catholic, Seventh-day Adventist, all these churches, Pentecost, they can come together and change this world because they are worth billions. So when I first opened my eyes, what I did was I first dug into my church. And a lot of you guys would probably know, when I grew up, I went to different churches. Me and my family, we went to different churches, and then we found one, my mom found one church that she just stuck to, and it was the Universal Church. So I did my research on Bishop Macedo, and it was, for me, I felt disgusted. I was sick when I saw that this man was worth billions of dollars. Like literally billions of dollars. And he's just a bishop, and he owns a bank. He has all these enterprises, all these businesses that he's making money out of. And then he's also making money out of the church, like literally selling his books in the church, getting our tithes and our offerings. And I think probably 80%, or I don't know. I don't want to put a number out there, but majority of his congregation is poor.
Mm.
Unfortunately, it's people just surviving.
Mm.
And he could do so much with that money. Right now, he's living up in the United States. He's from Brazil. He's living up in the United States in a very big mansion. And, that was very, for me, that was very alarming. And then they want to come and say that, oh, they're here to serve the communities. I have not gone to church and got anything for free. They want you to come to church and say, oh, buy our books. And if you have more money, buy something, buy a book for your friend. That's what they do. They operate these churches like businesses.
Businesses.
And they don't care about the struggling people. Like literally, people would give their last on tithes and offerings, thinking that God is miraculously going to come down from heaven and take them out of their positions. Like, to me, I'm not against my tithes and offerings because I read my Bible. But what I will do now, if I have my tithes and offerings, I'm going to go up in the streets and try to help somebody in need. That's what it's about. It's about building your community. You know, your tithes and offerings doesn't have to go to a church that sits empty majority of the time. Your tithes and offerings can go to somebody who really needs it. Single mothers, struggling students out there trying to find jobs. You know, all this chaos happening in South Africa is because people are struggling.
Yes.
And then the churches are hoarding the money.
Yes, yes. And I think we wanted to do this because, our channel is called Make Africa Great Again.
Yes.
And we feel like personally to make Africa great again, and I wouldn't be opposed to any of these churches if they were going out and spending their money. If 80% of South Africa is Christians, these Christian churches should be going and spending their money and building homes for the people in the squatter camps.
Yeah.
Doing the work that needs to be done where not half of the population is living in poverty. That's not acceptable. So, I think there's something in the Bible that we wanted to read that really can even give you hopefully more enlightenment and understanding as to what we are trying to say.
Yes. I wanted to read this one, and everybody knows this verse, but it is so profound, and you just literally,
It speaks to what we're saying.
It speaks to what we're saying. It says, John 4, verse 23. Yet, it says, yet a time is coming and now has come. So the time has already come, right? When the true worshipers will worship the Father in the Spirit and in truth. Did you want to harp on that? Like in spirit and in truth. Truth is a very, very, very big factor in that. You have to educate yourself on the truth.
On the truth.
And then you wanted to bring something out about the truth of Christianity, right?
Yes, this is what's making us in America wake up, and we are breaking out of Christianity, because this passage that she read was when Jesus was at the well.
At the well.
With the woman. She was a Samaritan.
Samaritan woman.
She was a Samaritan, and she was looking at Jesus because he was a Jew, and was saying, you guys really don't affiliate with us. You don't associate with us. What are you doing here at this well? And he let her know there will come a time where you can worship me in spirit and in truth anywhere.
Yes.
And it doesn't require you being at a church.
At a church.
Okay? And the other key point what she was bringing up is truth. A lot of you guys in South Africa are not aware of how Christianity started, and maybe are not aware of the truth about Christianity. And so that's why we as African Americans are waking up to seeing the flaws in Christianity, because we know a little bit about the truth and a little bit about the history. And I'm going to read something out of this book called Dreams. You want to put the Bible up there so it'll fly?
Yes.
Dreams and Nightmares. It's a good book that I read, and in this book they talk about exactly what we're talking about as far as Christianity and how it was used to manipulate the people. So here, I'll go ahead and read it for you right here. So here we go. This stance was particularly popular among Christian slave owners who were proud of having saved the pagan souls of their slaves from purgatory through forced Christianization. Christianized slaves were also considered to be easier to handle since they could supposedly be distracted from their miserable earthly existence with the promise of paradise. Also because Christianized slaves would be familiar with the Commandments, owners believed they would not lie and steal as often as pagan slaves. On the contrary, most of them considered it an institution sanctioned by God and expressly authorized by the Old Testament. Thus, supporters of slavery commonly cited the myth of Ham in the book of Genesis as a divine justification of slavery. This theory became one of the most popular pro-slavery arguments in America during the 19th century. To summarize this up, what this is pretty much saying, which I had to educate her because she's from South Africa. She did not understand everything that took place in America.
Yeah.
And I think the lack of truth and knowledge here in South Africa is why people are still following a religion.
Yes.
See, what happened in America, why some of us blacks are waking up, and at least me, I'm speaking for me. When you learn that they use Christianity to enslave us in America, they justified slavery in America with the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
They even had a slave Bible in America where, if I would have read more, where they would use this quote, slaves be obedient to your masters. There are people still to this day in America, white people, who still believe that slavery was justified and that the Bible sanctioned slavery and that they were justified in everything they did to us in America was fine because the Bible said that slaves need to be obedient to their masters. And when you start to learn the history of Christianity, when you learned how they went into so many countries and killed so many people in the name of their God.
In the name of their God, yep.
And when you learn that that you're taking this Christianity from your oppressor.
Yes.
If your oppressor oppressed you all these years, raped you, committed genocide amongst you, kept you in an apartheid, committed Holocaust after Holocaust, do you think that they're going to give you a religion and a God that is really for you? No, they're not. And so, I wanted to ask you this because she's from South Africa, and I'm curious to know, during the apartheid, were the churches helping South Africans fight for their freedom? Maybe I'm not aware of this, and that's why I'd rather ask you this, because I'm curious to know how 80% of your population is Christians, and a lot of them are following a religion and not having a relationship.
Yes. For me, the honest truth, I'm not really sure what the churches did for the people during the apartheid, but the people fought for their freedom. It wasn't due to the churches. During the apartheid, it was worship. We worshipped separately. We couldn't worship in their white churches. We worshipped separately, and it was not due to the church that South Africa received their freedom. It was due to the fight and the blood, sweat, and tears and sacrifices of the South African people. Had nothing to do with the church, and that says a lot. It really says a lot. are these churches during times of oppression? You know, where are these churches during all the suffering?
Let me say, I believe that if South Africans start to educate themselves like a lot of us Americans are, I believe that you will find out that a lot of these churches that you're attending agree to the apartheid. Because when you understand Christianity and you understand how they believe that slavery was justified through their Bible, when you go deeper and learn your history, you'll be surprised that you might even be surprised that some of these churches were actually pro-apartheid and believe that you guys probably need to suffer. And I'm just going off of what I know in America, because you had a lot of churches and you had a lot of people who justified slavery.
Yeah.
And felt that they were doing nothing wrong and that it was their God-given right and that they were our masters.
Yes.
And they had power to beat us, to sleep with us, to rape us, and we had to be fine with it because it was ordained by God.
Yeah.
And that's how they manipulated us, and that's how a lot of that's why I had to say it's a culture shock, because a lot of us in America were forced into Christianity.
Yes.
We didn't have a choice because we were slaves. So this was forced among us, and in it being forced among us, we carried it on from generation to generation to generation. But now a lot of us in America are waking up and seeing that this isn't right. You know, when you have these pastors living in mega mansions and they're building these churches that are worth 50, 80, 100 million dollars.
Yeah.
And you know, there's so much poverty, there's so much that they could be doing with their money, and they would rather spend it. You know, you have these pastors that own $500,000 Rolls Royces, $500,000 cars. You know, they have expensive jewelry. These are not
Designer
suits. Yeah, these are not God's people. And I think you could speak on some of these Christian pastors here in South Africa.
South Africa, like in the United States, it's egregious. To me, it's disgusting. But I did not expect that from my brothers here in South Africa, honestly. Like, I've seen documentary after documentary on how these lavishly, our brothers are living here, eating off of our people. Like, what is this pastor's name? He's really short. I'm not really sure what his name was. There was a documentary on him. And he went and had his suits fitted and driving these expensive cars. I think he's getting indicted. He's being indicted right now as we speak. He's being investigated. But yeah, having these designer suits, and guess what? Intellectual poverty. You wanted to speak about intellectual poverty. Like the guy who was interviewing this pastor went to some of the people in the congregation, and they were like, oh, but we can't follow somebody who doesn't have money. We can't follow somebody who, you know, is not doing well for themselves. And it's like, but he's eating your money. Like, how smart are we?
Yeah, it's really sad. And, you know, I think that's why we read the quote from earlier where Jesus said, you can worship me in spirit and in truth.
And if we want to do something about anything, let's worship God in spirit and in truth and go out into communities and help the people.
Yes.
That's what we need to do. We are put on this earth to encourage one another, to help one another, to push one another. I'm doing better than you. I need to help my brother. I need to elevate my brother. That's what we're here for. We're not here to come and sit up in a church and pray and be self-righteous, put on nice clothes and feel good in the moment. We're not here for that. There's more to life than that.
Yes. And the point I wanted to make with truth, see, a lot of you South Africans need to study your history on how Christianity came about.
Yes.
You need to study about how a lot of your kings in Africa were infiltrated with Christianity. And how that was the demise of a lot of kingdoms
yes.
here in Africa. It is on you. That's why the Bible says, study to show thy self-approved. You have to, and that's why he said in spirit and in truth. You can't worship him if you are following lies, if you don't know truth, if you don't know your history.
Yes.
You're going to be misled, brainwashed, and people are going to manipulate you to give you their money, and use your money, like this pastor, this bishop at her church. He's a billionaire. He has several churches in Africa, and he's still asking for Africans for to pay tithes and offering. But he has yet to come to Africa and build homes, build for the people, the single mothers here, build to help the people. And that's why I said I'm not against people help. If these churches were genuinely helping people in South Africa, there would not, half the population would not be living in poverty. And where we just wanted to bring these things and address this is because we personally believe we're not promoting that you become atheist. We're not promoting that you become a drunk or a criminal. We're promoting a relationship, and when you go with your creator, and when you go deeper and have a deeper understanding, what you will learn is that this is what's going to help make Africa great again. Is because if you have these people who have money at these churches, if they leave these churches and now instead of paying all these tithes and offerings to these churches, they go into the community and help and do and help the people where they are needed. I'm not saying you just need to give people money, but you can go and take that money that you invest in the tithes and offering and go buy food and go into these impoverished neighborhoods and feed the people. And even, baby, I think when the pandemic happened, where were the churches to help feed the people?
Yes. Where were the churches?
You know, these are the things that South Africans have to wake up, have to see, and this is going to help make Africa, make South Africa great again.
Yeah. And you also wanted to say that you thought that when you came here that people would have more of a relationship with their creator and with Mother Earth, and Mother Nature.
Be more in tune with their
spirituality.
Their spirituality and their history.
Yes.
Because, in America, us African Americans, we don't know any black gods. We don't know anything about our lineage. Christianity was forced on us as slaves. So when we come here, we look to people in Africa to know, like the Dr. Mumbies. We look for those people who who know more about their lineage, who know more about spirituality, who are more in tune with nature and in tune with, everything with their culture.
Yes.
That you kind of expect that, and I thought that was a staggering number. 80% of South Africans are Christians, and half the if Christianity was really doing their job, half of the population here would not be still in poverty.
Yes. Yes. So that's a very, very touchy subject. I know a lot of people probably would not agree with us. Please do not attack us. We're just giving you guys facts, like literal facts. And it's like any sane person, if you are sane and your eyes is open, you can see what is going on in this world. We're not here to tell you to abandon your faith. No. We're here to tell you, just wake up, Africa. Wake up.
Yes.
Come on now.
Come on.
It's 2021. Our people are still struggling. Our people are still suffering. We need to do something different. They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. There's no change. We need to wake up. Come on now.
And I think the youth here in South Africa are waking up.
Yes.
And they're not going to these churches like the older generation. But ultimately, I think what we would say, leave your comments, let us know what you think.
Yeah.
This is just a topic that we thought might be a good topic to share.
It's very intriguing.
Yes, a very intriguing topic we wanted to share with you guys.
It's not for the faint-hearted also. It's for those who really want to learn, who really want to grow.
Really want to grow. Yes, that's what we're promoting. And ultimately, all this is, we're just speaking from a point of view where we want to see Africa grow and become great again. And I believe it's going to take us going back to our spirituality, going back to our lineage, going back to our culture. And following what our ancestors and our our culture provided in the past.
Yes. And we are about moving forward also, right? When we don't just want to stay in one place. We want to move forward. We want to do better than our ancestors. We have to do better than our ancestors.
Yes.
It's our time now.
It's our time.
We need to come together in spirit and in truth.
Yes.
And make Africa great again. Come on, guys.
We can do it.
Yes, we
so
can.
let us know what you think in the comments below.
Yes.
We appreciate all the new subscribers. Thank you to the new subscribers out there, and thank you guys for tuning back in to Make
Africa
Great
again. In every video, we'll be leaving, one of my paintings, and yeah, just let us know if you guys are interested.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. Leave us a comment below, and you guys take care. We'll catch you later. We out.